Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to a re-recording of the first 10 minutes of our playthrough of Fate Stay Night Remastered. This is an attempt to upscale the volume of the sound and also to improve the quality of my voice, frankly. Trying to do it in a way that I can make the best use of my microphone and also to deliver to you a much more impassioned and equally sounding rendition of the thoughts and ideas of some of the main characters in this without it cutting out of the audio going. So if you remember from playing my playthrough of the main game, we have gone through 2 hours already of the main plot to Fate Stay Night Remastered. It is still in the tutorial or prologue section, and this is an attempt to redo that section with a bit more passion, a bit more evidence, a bit more literally volume. So without further ado, let's do further. The tip of the spear was like a flash of lightning. A spearhead thrust to skewer the heart. Even attempting to evade it was pointless. It was but a flash, too swift for the eye to follow. And yet, moonlight swept in to save me from the strike that threatened to end me. The sound was beautiful, like the tolling of a bell. No, truth be told, the sound hung over me, heavier than an iron weight. This beauty had little to do with aesthetics. The stark armor wrapped about her was like the frozen night itself. The ringing was not in itself pleasant. It was the sound of steel, but the night herself was beautiful enough to make it into the chiming of a bell. Her voice resonated in the darkness. Indeed, the pact was sealed, just as she chose to serve me. I'm sure, in that moment, that I swore to save her. The moonlight cut through the darkness, as if, in imitation of the night, the storehouse regained its former calm. Time had stopped. The vision before me had lasted less than a second. Be that as it may, I will always remember the sight of her as clearly as if it was still happening now, even if I fall into the depths of hell. The faint slant of her profile, her serene, divinely green eyes. For a moment, time stopped, and her silhouette, draped in blue, swayed in the wind. I was struck by the pale blue glow. Her hair, as fine as golden thread, was bathed in moonlight. Fate. This happened 10 years ago. I see someone who takes me back. He's tall, with chiseled features. I've never known him to crack a joke. He ruffles my hair affectionately. No, that's not what this is. It's more like he's grasping my head and working it like a stubborn jar lid. Maybe he doesn't know how to control his strength. That's only to be expected. It's the first time he's ever done something like this. It's time for me to leave. Know what to do next? I answered yes, in a somber voice. He nodded once, withdrew his hand and stood up. That's all. Had I known this would be the last time we would ever see each other, I would have done my best to make him laugh at the perfect joke. I'd been practicing punchlines in private, in the hopes of finally seeing a smile crack that stony face. If I have one regret, it's that I never got to tell him any of my jokes. Get the association in your debt before you become an adult. Any decisions after that, I leave up to you. I'm sure you'll manage on your own. So he said, but I bet he was worried about me. He'd told me about our family's heirloom jewels, the gems passed down to us from our grandmaster, and how to manage the underground workshop. It was a rapid-fire course of subjects he'd never taught me before. Even as a child, I realized that he would probably never come home again. There was a war, you see. Not a war between countries, but between people. But in this war, there were only 7 combatants. It might not have seemed fitting to call it a war, but having mages involved changes things. 7 mages from different factions competed, but I wasn't sure why. They killed each other using methods I didn't really understand. One of them was the man in front of me. It meant that he would kill, and eventually be killed. I'm sure he felt the ticking of his life's clock even more keenly than I did.
Rin, before long, the Holy Grail will appear. It is the duty of the Tosakas to obtain it, but above all, it is a path we are destined to walk as mages.
And with that, he ruffled my hair one last time and left. I never saw him again. My father/teacher was one of the masters who participated in the Holy Grail War. He never came home. I bid him farewell, as a well-behaved daughter should. I knew I was on the verge of tears, but I didn't let them show. I loved him. He was a great father, and an even greater mage. Mages are stubborn people. As far as I knew, there wasn't a more upstanding man in the whole world. As my instructor, he trained me. As my father, he loved me. So I decided I'd accept the things he left for me and choose my own path.
Rin, before long, the Holy Grail will appear. It is the duty of the Tosakas to obtain it, but above all, it is a path we are destined to walk as mages.
In the end, his final words for me were given as a mage, not a father. That's the moment I made up my mind. It's only natural for an apprentice to live up to her master's hopes. That's how I, Rin Tosaka, grew up after experiencing life's twists and turns. Been 10 years since my father went off to war. I wouldn't say I've been looking forward to this day, but I am a bit on edge. That goes without saying. After all, that moment which was burned into my memory 10 years ago will soon be upon me again.